Wedding Spill, another episode. We've got a very special guest today. She's been in the industry for a very long time. Born and bred in South Australia, I believe.
Yes.
Moved up and purchased her very own venue. Has worked in the Whitsundays for a while. Mum of two. And the queen of the Creek. It's Mel from Creek Whitsundays.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mel.
Thank you. Yes. No dramas.
She's driven a long way, not too long, but
it's only an hour and 20.
Yeah, well, we had our skates on this morning because we had to do the school drop off, so it was like an hour 20 thereabouts to Mackay.
It's not that far.
It's not that far, and we do a lot of Mackay weddings for that reason, I think, because people kind of like the convenience of it being out of Mackay and out of the region, but at the same time not too far to visit.
But it's so beautiful. It has to be one of the number one venues for weddings, I would say. But we will get into that more.
We will. Very exciting. So tell us a bit about, so you started in South Australia, had your own business.
Yes.
We talked about this a bit. So you started off managing, you made your own app, wasn't it? Where you were managing like venues.
Yeah, so I was in the industry for quite a while before that happened, but I started out in weddings and just like back home through a marina actually, and was managing weddings there and for a wine bar as well too, and then got the opportunity to move up to the Whitsundays to Hayman Island. So I moved up there and ended up spending 5 years managing the events and marketing team up there. So that was an amazing opportunity, and I went with them across over to Dubai for a while and did all sorts of things in Sydney and all sorts of other places too. So that was really cool. But then I ended up back in South Australia because we'd just had enough of that. I wanted to be home for a little while. So I went back to South Australia, and then there was just like this really big gap in the market. So I created my own company down there, and that was, like you said, we had a app and a platform as well as managing private property. So we would actually get private properties and turn them around and create them into wedding venues. And then from there, we had about 14 of those that we were managing at the same time. So that kept me quite busy. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So, and then that got quite large and got to the point I'd already had my 2 kids by then. And I was like, this is too big for me. And I was living in WA, managing it in South Australia. So we sold the company, and it's still going gangbusters down there, which is fantastic. And then I had a little rest.
So when you say we, was it you and your husband?
No, it was me, but it's just a company habit. I always say we, but it was just my company.
You?
So you did it all by yourself?
Yeah, I did. I had an amazing team down there that grew with me from the start. And by the end, I can't remember how many we had, but more than a dozen. So yeah.
Wow. And so what brought you back here?
We just always have loved the Whitsundays. Like for us, like I met my husband here in the Whitsundays. It was always like our kind of like heart location, I think, if that makes sense. And for us, we wanted the kids to grow up in this kind of environment. Not so cold, like just beautiful weather. We love the outdoors. It was perfect for us. So yeah.
Where did you meet? Where'd you meet?
Hayman Island.
Oh.
Yes. The marina manager fell in love with the marketing manager. Yes. Yeah. It had its perks, but yeah.
And did you get married on Hayman?
No, we actually got married back in South Australia. So,
At one of the venues you managed?
Yes, I had launched a new venue off the back of my own wedding, of course. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. But we actually did it as a bit of a surprise, which is not something you see done very often. So we told all the guests that we were getting married in South Australia and that the bus would pick them up at a certain point in time, but we didn't tell them where they were going. So then it was a surprise location for the ceremony. We had that down on like this really pretty beach down there. And then we picked them up from there and then took them to a secondary surprise location for the reception. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they were just on this tour. Yeah,
I have not seen anyone do that in Mackay yet.
Yeah, it was fun.
There's an idea if you're listening.
Yeah.
Do that. Book in a surprise
Yeah.
location and ceremony.
Because you hear about like the surprise, we're getting married.
Yes.
But I've never heard of the surprise location. That's really cool.
Well, for us, like so many of our guests were like flying in. It was effectively like a destination wedding for like more than half of our guests anyway. So all they needed to know was where to book accommodation. They didn't have to worry about getting there because we had the buses organised. So
just go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
That just makes it way more exciting as well.
Exactly. And we didn't want people to like stalk it out in advance and have like this preconceived idea as to what the day was going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that allowed us like to fully surprise them. So.
And so with the Creek, how did the Creek come about?
Well, as these things do, I'd had 6 months off of my previous company, and I was already twiddling my thumbs and like bored. What am I going to do next? And then we caught up for drinks with some friends, and as part of that conversation, I was like, oh, I really need to find something for myself. Ideally, I want my own venue. I'd really love to buy something. There's just nothing out there. And they happened to be friends with the previous owners of the Creek, and they're like, well, actually, friends of ours might be selling their property, and it would be perfect for you. So anyway, after a couple of drinks, just got in touch, and then it happened very quickly. So
And then just bought it.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about your time then for the past 2 years. How has it been?
Yeah. It's been like a bit of a learning curve because like I've come off property and like farming properties itself, but definitely not cattle and certainly not Brahman. They're like very big cattle.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You still have like... you have cows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you got...
Yeah, so we've got the wedding venue, but we've also got a farm as well. So we've got 800 acres out there to manage.
I thought it was just the wedding venue. I didn't realize it came with animals.
Yeah. Horses and cattle there. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot going on the property outside of just the wedding.
Holy.
So yeah.
That's a lot.
So yeah, that's been a learning curve. But then the actual venue itself has just been fantastic. Like having something that's my own that I can like really sink my teeth into and start working on in terms of like progress and just building it up to the way we want it to be. Yeah.
I'm loving the changes every time I come. Something's new.
Yes.
And what sort of changes can you say?
Well, one that we were kind of like just touching on before as well. So like we've built a inclement weather space for our wedding. So we've got the retreat. So it's a fully undercover area that we can use for weddings if it happens to rain. So there's no last minute marquee. We've built like a new smoking area. We've built a new kitchen. We've built like extra shelters and all sorts of little things as well too.
It's so good though. Like the changes, the progress has been amazing.
Yeah.
Like from when I first went there, just what's happened is like so cool every time I go. I haven't seen the new smokers area. That was in progress last time I was there.
Yeah, we literally like knocked that up like 2 days before Christmas. So
so that's just happened.
Literally.
So that'll be exciting.
Yeah. So that one's done, and then there's another one underway, but I'm not gonna drop that one just yet.
Oh, you can't give us any.
Just in case we get rain delayed. I don't want people to be like, oh, that's there and it's done, because it's not done yet. So
oh no, so you're gonna tell me that after, like,
off air maybe.
Okay.
Do you reckon you'll always keep just building and going with it?
Yeah.
Like, is there
I
ever a
think my
point where
husband
you're like,
would like
I'm
to think
done, it's good, can we leave it and have a break? Or
Never. A woman is
never ever gonna
done.
happen. Well, like we've got so many acres of just gardens. So like at the very least, I'm always going to be refurbing garden spaces and like adding different things at the very least to the garden side of things. But yeah, from an infrastructure perspective, like there's probably like 2 or 3 big hurdles that I want to get through, and then I'll probably slow it up a little bit. But there's always like a million other jobs, fencing, different things that we want to do as well too around the space. So
and like features you can add for like photography and videography.
I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
If you are a bride and I want to book the Creek,
yes,
how far in advance do I need to do it?
Yeah,
because I always say to my brides when they call and I say, they just got engaged and they're looking around for a videographer and that, I always say, have you booked a venue?
Yes.
Because to me, booking a venue is the first thing you should do.
Yeah.
You book the venue and then you book everything else around it.
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think you're really serious about like any of your suppliers yet until you've got your venue, because so many things can change until you've got that date and that venue locked in.
And I think you need to be flexible on the date though too.
You do,
like so many people are like, this is our anniversary date or something.
Yeah.
And then like that's the one date that they want.
Yeah.
Which is fine. If that's really what you want is like a date thing, go for it. But I think if the date isn't a big deal. Like, I think you just need to like roll with what's available.
100%. And don't get fixated on like the 26th of the 6th, 26th.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I guess we could have had like 30 weddings on that one day and
Yeah.
still be
I know.
pushing people away. Like, it's just...
People are like funny with numbers. They just
are.
love the numbers.
I
don't
mean,
they?
to be fair, I did it too, but...
But do you do any discount if it's a weekday or to
Yeah,
a weekend?
so we have we have 2 different packages basically. And so we have our weekend signature package, which is designed for the big weddings that want the late finish and the whole shebang. And then we have our micro package, which is designed for those that are like wanting to keep costs down, happy to have it on a weekday and don't necessarily want 120 people there. You know, like they might be around that 40, 50 mark, even up to 60. So yeah, that's how we kind of work with our packaging.
I reckon there's nothing wrong with a weekday wedding.
No, I love it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I-
Especially when so many people are traveling. Like, you're going to have
Yeah.
a couple of days off anyway. What's
Literally.
the difference?
I think it's really good, especially if you're having a destination wedding.
Mm.
Have it during the week, then do like a post, you know, on a breakfast thing or something the next day or something, and then still have the weekend to like catch up and then cruise home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like drag it out. Why not?
Yeah, and I find people are less rushed as well too, because they're like, oh, we've got to take a few days off anyway, so we may as well make it a 4-day thing, you know, in terms of their holiday. Whereas if it's a Saturday, they'll often be like, okay, well, we don't have to take any days off work, so they rush back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
But
the
you're in
weekend,
the
it just
Whitsundays
extends it out.
too.
I know,
I know,
like, why
it's
would
so
you?
cool.
Hello, your
Yeah.
first
So
holiday.
here's
Yes.
a burning question. Have we had anyone who's booked internationally from somewhere outside Australia?
Ooh. Actually, no, not at the moment.
That's a goal. We need to go.
Yeah.
We need international.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we get a lot of interstaters, and a lot of them
Heaps.
haven't even seen the space before they've booked, and some of them haven't even seen the space before they come for their own wedding.
How does that go
That's
down?
a lot of faith. It gives me anxiety, to be honest. No, booking without seeing the space is probably the part that I like to encourage people to do. If they can come out and see it, I'm all for it. Like, we'll always open up the space, even in off season, so they can come and have a look through. But like, they don't necessarily have to be up there every weekend. Like, we can do everything else over the phone after that.
That's amazing.
There's so much stuff online too, though. You can video chat if they can't make it.
Totally.
There's-
Yeah, we do video walkthroughs with them all the time, and yeah, there's heaps of options.
Have you ever had a bride call and that date's booked and have they cried? Has anyone...
No, I haven't had anyone cry over their date as of yet. But I have had people like literally offer money to another bride that had that date booked to try
No
and get them
way.
to move their wedding so they could have that
Really?
date. Yes.
Did it work?
No. The other couple are like, no, we've already booked some suppliers. We're done. That's our date. So,
Imagine that changing everything.
yeah.
I've been sworn at, like, because I didn't
Have
have a
you?
date. Yeah, they dropped the F-bomb on me.
Oh, that's so nice.
And I was just like, I think because she was devastated, but I was
Yeah.
just like, I did not expect that. Like, holy wow.
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe that.
Yeah, that was hectic.
It'll happen at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, it will. Have you had your time in the last 2 years? Has there been any moments where you had disasters, or like, is there any stories you can tell us about any?
I can see Gabby grinning. We
I
did
am.
have a particularly wet wedding, and I think like you're unlucky. There's always that famous fable that you're lucky if it rains on your day. It's like, well, you're kind of not, to be fair.
You're not.
Especially if
Yeah.
you've booked in winter where it very rarely rains. But this bride took it like an absolute trooper. But to be fair, it was not just like a bit of rain that came for the
was a
ceremony. It was
lot.
like rain from start to finish.
And it was not predicted either.
It was completely
Were you there, Gabby?
unpredicted.
I was there. So
Yeah,
we
we
did
were
this
doing-
wedding together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucky I stayed the night too, which I do most of the time when I
Yeah.
do a Saturday one.
Yeah,
If
mostly because you want to have wine with me afterwards, right?
Literally. Like, let's have a bottle of Prosecco and do some TikTok dances together.
And for those who haven't listened before, Gabby, just explain what you do really quickly.
So I do styling, flowers, that sort of thing for weddings.
And you work with the Creek a lot, don't you?
Well, I think Mel likes it when I come and have a bottle of wine, so she recommends me, and then I recommend her, and we end up
You are amazing at what you do. It's not just about having a wine
not
with
just
you.
about that.
Yeah.
No.
That's a bonus, isn't
That
it?
is
really?
a bonus.
So how did you go then with the rain? And I know because you use artificial flowers. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. As the only ones that I sort of struggle with is the red. Like red ones, I don't know why, seem to run a little.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
Just, I don't know what the darker colours in it or whatever, like what dye, I'm not sure. They run a little bit, so they do drip. Only certain ones though, like...
You probably wouldn't notice it unless it was like on a white pillar, right?
Yeah, like I notice it, but no one else notice it because I can see it like... But that's only happened one time, and it was at the creek too, when it was super wet.
So tell us a little bit more about this day.
Yes. So, I mean, it was just really unpredictably wet. So the forecast wasn't for any rain. It was like up to 2 mil, I think, that day.
Yeah, it was like nothing.
Which is like nothing.
No.
Like that's not rain. And it was forecast for the morning. So we were all like hopeful. Okay,
And we
there's a
were
bit of rain
watching
when you
it.
woke up. We were watching it the whole time. We're like, okay, it's going to clear off. It's going to clear off. But it just never did. And it got heavier and heavier.
I think it started like, what time was her ceremony? Maybe 2:30?
2:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, something like that. And I think it started at like maybe 1.
Yeah.
Or even 12 or something. And then it just progressively got worse.
Yep.
And then we just literally had to Mel was great. She made the decision to like, right, let's just call it and move the location. The bride.
And so where did you go?
Yeah, so we were going to be out by our farm gates, and we'd already set it up there. Like we'd
was
already
fully
set
set.
it up. We were like totally onto it. But then when the rain came through, we were like, okay, we'll hold off moving it. We kept the flowers in underneath, so they were protected. But like we held off moving any of the
For as long
furniture
as
and
we
things as
could.
long as we could. Because at the end of the day, that's what the bride's wish was to be outside. So you're not going to go against the bride's wish unless you really have to.
Did
And
you
so,
have to have that conversation with her? Like,
Yes.
hey,
Yeah, it was a
we
phone
need
call.
to talk.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
raining.
And
Yeah,
that
we've
was
been
a-
messaging earlier though.
Yeah.
Like we always have like great relationship with our brides anyway.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
we're talking and messaging throughout the day, just
Yeah.
checking in. But yeah, I had checked in with her earlier and I was like, look, this is kind of where we're at. We're going to leave it as long as possible.
Yeah.
And then once we got to that point where
think
we couldn't
we
leave it much
even
longer, we gave her a call. I think we like video
up.
timed her together or
Yeah,
something.
we did talk to her together, but we
Yeah.
even set up 2 lots of chairs. I'm pretty sure we did like undercover chairs, out in the open chairs, and then we had to move some extra ones or something.
So we made the call to like
Yeah.
half set both locations so that no matter what we weren't like fully settings and just allowed us to leave the call till a little bit later.
Yeah.
But we
So,
were
yeah.
literally running to set that up. And then there was
Yes.
like puddles behind the ceremony, and I was throwing clippings just to
We were
hide some
like-
of the puddles.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
And how did she handle it?
Amazingly. Like honestly, I was expecting complete meltdown, like, and I would not blame her for a second.
Yeah.
Because she'd had everything booked. Like,
She was
had
very organized bride. Like
everything that
had a
opened
really
and
clear
shut.
vision.
Yeah.
And I think like it's so good to have like a really clear vision, but it does like when you look at that picture in your mind, if it doesn't like appear and occur the same way as that picture that you've had in your mind for so long, it can be really unsettling.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were like fully expecting her, understandably, to melt down, but she didn't. Like,
No, she. I reckon her face was more when someone popped the popper off during the ceremony. She was more dirty about that.
Oh no.
Yeah, like it was.
Oh
Yeah, I handed out, the cannon.
Yes.
And this guy was
He was
like,
just fidgety. I think he was trying
Yeah,
to figure
and
out how to do it.
I always tell them, don't twist it. It's really sensitive. And he just did it right when they were signing, didn't he? Or something.
Oh no.
And her face was like, not happy, Jan, but she had more poppers, mind you.
There was
she had
heaps.
heaps.
It was no dramas.
But it was like everyone laughed.
But his face would have been like,
oh, he died. He died.
Take shot.
It was funny though. Like from a vendor perspective,
Oh my
we were
god,
like,
I would
having
have
a
laughed
giggle.
at that.
Yeah.
That to me is hilarious. Like I just imagine a male being like, pop.
I know.
Yeah, it was
so
gold.
true.
But that was a very wet wedding.
was,
We ended
yeah.
up taking all the tables. So they actually had a game, didn't they?
They
The
did.
game was planned, hey?
Yeah, so the game was planned all along.
What game, sorry?
So they did, I can't remember what they called it, but effectively it was like,
like
a scavenger hunt /
Musical chair thing.
Oh wow.
It was really fun, actually. It got very wild, though, to be fair.
It was
right
like
at the end.
dangerous.
My God. Shout out to Gidget, by the way. Hopefully she watches this.
Yeah, she'll be loving this.
Yeah, love it.
She'll be like, hang on, are they talking about my wedding?
Yeah, totally are. Oh dear, but yeah, no, they had the game planned already. So when the game was on, instead of everyone staying in their seat in the barn, we actually got like the last few tables, we moved their seats up and they kind of like all got in a little bit closer to where the game was. And meanwhile, while that happened, we just got like our whole team in and like Gabby and Aaron was there as well too. And we just like cleared out like extra tables out of the back of the room. And then with that room, we created an indoor dance floor for them. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Because it was just not letting up the rain.
No.
I
Like,
mean,
it was just,
you always have to have like a contingency plan.
Yeah,
so.
and it worked well. So
Yeah.
and you just got to roll with it.
it was
too.
really cool vibes actually because we
Yeah.
turned off half the lights, so it was literally just like fairy lights in a barn with a DJ in there. It was it was fun.
Do you know, touch wood, we have not had rain at any of our weddings yet.
Never say that.
I touch wood.
I don't know why you said that.
We have had really bad wind, like crazy wind.
Yeah.
But not rain.
Yeah.
Which the day it pelts down, I'm going to be nervous.
I think I said that for my first 6 years, and
Yeah.
then things just started to turn. And then I've had a fair few rainy weddings, which
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, not today.
It's disheartening.
I used to do so many on the island that were wet because I think the islands particularly, like they're so much harder to predict because they hit the
Yeah.
hills off the islands and the weather patterns out there aren't nearly as consistent. It's not like you can see it coming from an hour away.
Yeah.
And then just suddenly it'll just pop up above you and just torrential.
just starts
Was
raining.
Hayman
So many.
quite often, did they have weddings every weekend there?
Back in my day, we did, but then they like changed quite a bit recently. I don't think they're doing too many out there anymore now. So.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
concentrating on family, like vacations. aren't
Yeah,
they?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, FIT market more than anything else. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't even think I've been to Hayman.
I've never been to Hayman.
Yeah, to me
It's
either.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've been to Daydream for a wedding,
Yeah.
and I've been to Hamo, but I've never been to Hayman. I'm going to put that on my bucket
There you
list.
go. We'll go over.
Did you have to live in Hayman? Or did you
Yeah.
live in Airlie Beach?
No, I lived on Hayman.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
how long?
5 years.
You lived at on Hayman Island for 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there was like a few months
Wow.
here or there. So like I did a 6 month stint in Sydney and then 6 months in Dubai, but then like the whole time I was
How
I
was
mean-
Dubai? That would have been hot.
Oh, it wasn't too bad when I was there. Like it was getting towards the real hot time of year.
part.
I left just before Ramadan. So yeah, that's
Did you-
not too bad.
Did you get cabin fever living on Hayman Island?
A little bit, but I was lucky. I've shacked up with the marine manager. I had a boat on.
She was good to go.
I'd finish work and jump on the boat and we'd go out for a sunset cruise or whatever. So we were fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can get very isolating working on the
Yeah, you
islands.
would.
Yeah.
I think you'd
I-
be bored if you didn't.
I
have-
always, I thought
totally.
all the crew would I just thought you'd get on the ferry and head back to
Well,
Airlie
it doesn't,
Beach.
it's not like, it doesn't work and align with business hours. Like
Yeah.
I'd be doing weddings, I'd be up at like 7 a.m. picking up people off the boat, but then we'd be doing a wedding and like events until midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't then get on a boat at
You
midnight.
got to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like being the manager as well too. I was on call 24/7, so you have to be there.
That would have been a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it was, but
Yeah.
She handles the pressure. Like
And
a
I would
boss.
imagine, like, your clientele now from Hayman to the Creek, is it different clientele? Have you seen
Yeah.
a difference?
oh yeah, definitely different clientele. Yeah, but I think like it's hard to compare. You always get a different group of clientele no matter where you are. But there's like complete crossovers. Like at the end of the day, everyone wants the same thing. They want their day to be perfect and they want that experience. So it all crosses over. Like you're gonna treat them fairly similar anyway. But yeah, you definitely find like we get a lot more of the more relaxed vibes out at the Creek, and the brides are just usually just love to go with the flow and love like that outdoor environment. I remember doing a wedding on Hayman once for a bride that hated sand but had decided to get married on an island on the beach.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that doesn't work.
well, yeah, no, evidently it doesn't.
I don't like sand either. I must admit, I'm a bush girl. Like, nah,
Yeah.
not for me.
So if you got married again, it'd be the Creek, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh yes, tomorrow.
She's like, oh,
I'm
yes.
like, hang on, 10-year
10
anniversary
yeah.
coming
That's
up.
a great idea.
Can renew
Do
my vows.
it.
Come out to the Creek.
Need a videographer?
Yep. Done. Know a few people.
I love renewal vows. Like I've done a few and it's the sweetest thing, especially where a couple have like got married before they've had kids and they can do a renewal of vows, but the kids
Yeah.
get to be there and be a part of it. And like The kids have, like, no doubt asked questions for the last 10 years about what the wedding was like and things like that.
I know. I've
It's
showed
just
my
so
kids the
sweet.
wedding video and it was cute.
I love that you got a wedding video. I'm so
Well, I did it.
proud of you.
Yeah. A friend did it. But it's still, like, it's memorable. Like, I
Yeah,
love it.
It is. And I feel like people don't think of that. They don't think of the future where you're going to lose mum and dad or your grandparents
Absolutely.
or your kids are
Yeah.
going to grow up. So it's something you can show them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I still
Yeah.
watch it. Not heaps, but maybe I'll watch it for my 10 year.
Yeah.
Now, I had a person ring the other day.
Yes.
And he said, we've just gotten engaged. My budget for my wedding is $20,000.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay. Like, I said, to me, like, and I think when people get engaged, they don't realize what they're coming into and how much vendors cost and what do they need.
Yeah.
And he said to me he couldn't believe that nearly half his budget was going to be gone with video and photo. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, well, book your venue and work your way around. Mm-hmm. So, and another thing he said is, like, with a venue, like, it's just a place. And I said, no, it's so much more.
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you have people ring and not understand
What's
what
included.
value they get
Yeah.
with a venue?
Yeah. I think the one that always intrigues me is when they call and they're like, oh, we're debating whether to have it at home or to book a venue. And it's like there is a whole conversation in that, in the sense of,
Yeah.
like, comparing an at-home wedding to one at the venue. Even if you live on the most beautiful property, the costs and the surprise costs and
They add up.
surprise workload involved in doing it at home versus a venue where you get surprises on the other side of things of extras that are included that you didn't realize were there. So, yeah, it's a whole conversation. And people most of the time have no idea how much it costs to hire bathrooms and how much it costs to hire generators, marquees,
Lights,
cool rooms,
furniture.
lights, furniture.
All
And
the
that's
things.
just the start,
Yeah.
like, let alone glassware and
Or
all of the
even
bar side of things and the
a marquee.
staffing. Yeah.
Marquee for wet weather, like all that. That's, like, I reckon that would add up for your, like, Saturday
Yeah.
pricing. That would be more, like 100%. Would
Definitely.
have to be.
So my company in South Australia, because we had like 14 odd venues that we managed exclusively, a lot of those were like a really broad mix. So we had like wineries that had full service. Everything was there, including catering. And then we would have like literally one of our properties was literally called Tent on a Hill. And it was a glamping tent on a hill. Nothing else. So you bring everything to it. So
Yeah.
you compare that to someone's paddock at home, same thing. Had to bring in power, had to bring in everything. And the cost of Tent on a Hill, although it was like ridiculously dirt cheap venue hire, the cost of that compared to the full service wedding, in the end, I would say every single time it worked out more expensive by quite a bit. Not just a little bit or not just comparative, by quite a bit more. Because the costs add up and there's surprise costs. If you're not an event planner, you're not going to be able to sit down and do a budget because you're not going to know, you don't know what you don't know, you know, like you
100%.
have no idea that you need to go and buy rubbish bins. You know, you don't have any idea that you need to go and buy glassware and cutlery and all these things like that or hire, but at the very least, it's still an extra expense every single time.
Like it's more, it just adds up.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's always interesting when people come into that with, oh, we can just have a cheap wedding at home versus no.
Unless
it's a completely different experience.
Unless you're doing like super cash, like cocktail vibes with like some barrels, throw some chairs around.
more like a party.
Like more like a party rather
backyard
than
barbecue.
Yeah, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing that, then absolutely. And if
Totally.
you're going to use the toilet at home and not even get a toilet in, maybe.
Yeah. But you'd want to have 20 people and not 100 people because that toilet's not going to cope and suddenly you've got an absolute disaster on your hands. Not to mention at the end of the night when you want to get rid of everyone and you're like trying to kick them out the door. You can't kick them out the door because there's no venue that it's like, okay, it's our curfew. There's no one helping you do that.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, 6 a.m. on the morning after your wedding, you're waking up to this absolute pigsty of a mess and your uncle knocking on the door offering to help.
I know, at least with a venue, you can just literally
walk away. Yeah, that's
see
it.
ya.
Done.
Have fun with that mess that we made.
Yeah. Our couples rock up the next day or sometimes a couple of days after just to collect their things and that's it. Yeah. And it's in a storage tub and we pull it out of the cool room or wherever we've stored it and that's that, done.
Wow. And so how many staff do you have?
We have about like 15 thereabouts.
Wow.
But they're mostly casual. We've only got one full-time employee.
Wow.
Yeah.
So on a wedding day,
Yes.
you'll have 15 staff running around.
No, on a wedding day we'll have like 6.
Oh, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have like 15 that we kind of work through.
Yeah, I guess for preparation.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's
exactly.
great.
And
Change
different
them around and
abilities.
stuff.
Yeah.
So with a wedding, because you've experienced so many weddings,
Yes.
what is your favorite part about a wedding?
Ooh. I think it's like, it's hard to say it's like one moment, but it's the moments that people don't expect that just live on with them forever. So I always say to my couples, I'm like, make sure you soak up the little moments,
Yeah.
because those little moments are the ones you remember. It's not like the grand moments that everyone expects you to remember. It's the little moments where, like, you know, your dad snuck your niece a chocolate and she just sat there like indulging on it during the ceremony. You got to have like this cute smile together, and it's not a thing or a moment for me. It's just the little things that
Unexpected
you remember.
stuff. Hey,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only way you get those is if you are like fully immersed in the day and not stressed and just like soaking it up.
Yeah.
And not worrying about your timeline or where you've got to be or how you're looking or
I think for
what conversations you're supposed to be having. You know?
Yeah. Casey's wedding.
Yeah.
Like this fact that her son was just sort of on her leg
Yes.
for the ceremony was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard when you have kids at weddings because, like, obviously they're just going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But that was really cute, like, special moment. Like, he just wanted to be with mum
Yeah.
and he just wouldn't let go. Like,
Yeah.
that was cute.
Absolutely.
We
So
had
cute.
last year a moment, because obviously being videographers,
Yeah.
because we mic the dad up normally, and we'll mic the groom and the bride, and they're all mic'd. And this dad walked the bride down the aisle, but when he got to the groom, he had this little speech prepared, and it was so beautiful. Like, it was him saying, "You need to take care of her," and oh my
I'm gonna
god,
cry.
yeah, it was honestly so beautiful. Like, and I've never seen that before, and I was like, oh my god, it melted my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could
so-
not be a videographer. I'd be a crier, man. Like, just,
Oh,
nah.
I don't know. There's some gold stuff too. That
Like, nah, not for me.
I always
Do you still
find-
cry at weddings?
Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I've gotten better.
Yeah.
I'm still a crier, though.
Yeah, I'm a shocker.
Yeah,
That's
I'm a
why
shocker.
sometimes even for Casey's, I had to way hang back because
Yeah.
I was like, seeing a little boy and stuff, I was just like,
I'm really grateful that most weddings are during that time of the day where, although the bride and groom can't wear sunglasses, I can like hide under my sunnies,
Yes.
so no one really knows that I'm having a little secret cry as the bride walks down the aisle.
yeah.
But
See,
yeah.
I can't take on any emotion because my brain
You're
is,
so switched on at that
Yeah.
moment.
I'm got to be capturing.
Focus.
So I'm like, what's that camera doing? What's that camera doing? What's that framing like? Is the audio still going? So like, I'm
Yeah.
literally pretty much not listening to
That's
what
your
they're
busiest
saying.
point, wouldn't it be?
Oh, it's the most
And
stressful.
that's probably
stressful
It's a
'cause
the
there's,
stressful
like,
only
point.
point where we're actually like,
Just breathe.
for half an
Just-
hour, we
Yeah,
can
you get to
actually
soak it
just
up.
like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's the only time I generally sit
We get-
down is just
Yeah.
like, oh, I can just breathe for a minute
Yeah.
and like take it in.
Yeah.
Even that other wedding that we had, the micro where the daughter was adopted, like,
Oh, yes.
That was-
Oh,
I
that
was like-
oh gosh,
yeah.
major tears.
Yeah,
Everyone
that-
in the bar was crying.
Yeah, that was
So as part of her speech, she asked the groom, who had been like a father figure to her for a very long time, but she asked the groom
Yeah.
to like be legally
like
adopted.
adopt her.
Yeah.
And then she changed her name and everything.
wanted
to
Like,
change her
it's
name.
So
So
beautiful.
Yeah, it was adorable. But like, literally everybody was crying. There was not a dry eye anywhere in the staff, in the guests. It was, yeah.
What do you
That's
reckon
awesome.
the saddest moment at a wedding, like the most emotional you've ever been at a wedding?
Oh, I think to me, it's like when someone's lost someone really
Yeah.
special
Yeah.
who can't be there on the day. That always
That's
gets
hard,
me.
hey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it literally will get me even thinking about it now.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that moment where everyone knows they're present in one way or another,
Yeah.
but they're not there.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard, especially if
is
it's like
hard.
happened recently for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
fresh.
a wedding day, particularly, like your mum and dad, like that's who you want there with you, or
Yeah.
like it's really hard for them if it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
the case.
actually had spoken to a lot of people that have lost their parents and they haven't yet been married, and they said because their parents are gone, they
Yeah.
refuse to get married.
yeah
Because
Oh, fair.
she said, if my dad can't walk me down the aisle, then I'm not getting married. So
Even
Yeah.
the grandparents and stuff, like Gidget had it was her grandma with the memory thing on the
Yeah.
chair and stuff in her photo, and then the girls put the roses on her chair and stuff.
I love that.
There's so many
I
sweet
do
ways
love
that
that.
you can
Yeah.
recognize them and have them as part of the day.
And
Yeah,
I think if they're
absolutely.
such a big part of your life, like why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Like
Absolutely.
honor them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, another quick question for you.
Don't make me cry.
If you could be, no, we're changing gears.
Please.
Let's get off the emotional stuff and go to the fun stuff. So, if you could be any other vendor in the industry, what do you think you could do?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest, but I probably celebrate, I reckon.
I think
I
actually,
agree.
I agree. Yeah.
You could be a celebrant.
But
for
I would
sure.
find it very hard to just be a celebrant and not try and plan the day outside of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, like how do you just do the ceremony? I just
You'd be
couldn't.
twitching.
I'd be twitching.
You'd be like,
I'd have to be like a full service celebrant that was like a planner plus a celebrant at the same time.
do both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you love having everything organized and control. Hey, you're like the most organized person I know.
Yeah. I'm a micromanager.
You love that.
So am I.
It works well in this industry.
Oh, it
I
works
have
so
to say.
well. So
Yeah.
well.
My husband probably not so proud of that. But anyway.
He's like, no.
I drive him nuts.
What do you like for holidays though? Are you spontaneous or
Yeah.
you are spontaneous? So
Yes.
you don't organize a holiday?
Well, it depends on like who's coming with me. If I'm going with the kids and I'm going somewhere where I need to be organized, then I'm OTT. Like everything's covered.
Spreadsheet girl, like got the folder happening.
Yeah, like every day's
Okay.
diary is done. But if we're going somewhere where I don't need to be like that, then I won't be.
Just wing it. Like
Yeah, I'll just
camping
wing it.
vibes, like there.
Camping vibes, yeah, road trip vibes.
Like, whatever.
Just wing it day by day. Totally fine with that. Even like Southeast Asia, like where there's like lots of availability, I'm happy to wing it over there.
Yeah, not book anything, just roll with it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's fun when
It just
you
depends on where you're going.
when you are organized and in the industry, sometimes to just let your hair down.
Yes.
And just like just go
Have you
with it,
noticed
hey.
though how like if you are normally the organized person in your family, when you're not organized, it derails everybody.
Oh,
Everybody's
100%.
like, but what do you mean you haven't decided where we're going for dinner?
No, I love doing that. Love
so
doing that to
taken
Aaron.
back.
It just like, yeah, he can't cope at all. He's like, what do you mean you haven't decided? Just thought you'd decide, mate. Like,
But I bet you if he said we're going to go to this place, you'd be like, oh, well,
yeah, but
I
I'll
was
be
kinda
like,
hoping we
I'll
were
be
gonna
like,
go here.
oh, that's fine, and he'll be like, don't say fine. Like he can't do that word. He's like, nah.
Wow.
You have to say that's great or good. Otherwise, he's like, it's not good enough.
Yeah. Shifting back to
Yes.
the creek, how busy are you this year?
We're fully booked with maybe a couple of little spots here or there. So I've got like one weekend date left and I could probably squeeze in one or two little micros, but they'd have to be very like flexible with dates.
Wow.
Outside of that, fully booked. And
That-
have been for a very long time already.
That is
And what about
amazing.
2027?
I don't have a single date in September in 2027. October's nearly gone. Like it's already filling up.
Let's
very,
talk
very
about
quick.
months. What
Yes.
to you? What do
What's
you think?
the ultimate month?
Yeah.
Oh, I think for me, I'm like a big fan of a May or a September.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
May's been so wet.
But it
recently-
was last year.
Yeah, I know. It was so hot.
But
for
last
my
year was
wedding.
just a horrible
Yeah,
rainy year.
it
Just
was
the wet
a-
season went on forever.
We've
But
had a
that's
few of them
unusual.
though
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
We always book our September
Do you? Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yep, September goes first. And
Yeah.
I can't even tell you, I think this year it's the 24th. Is that a Saturday?
Yeah.
That date, I feel like I've had, I reckon like 8 people want to
Wow.
book that Saturday.
day.
There's
and
a
that's
few,
like
yeah.
18 months away still.
There's
so.
same with the 26th of the 6th, 26. There's a couple of dates.
Maybe that's the date. Sorry. Yeah. The 26th.
Yeah, there's a few dates that have like numbers aligning that
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
have been like wanting to
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
The 6th of the 6th, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also another one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
Anyway, don't get excited because those dates are well and truly gone.
They're gone.
They're gone. They're gone.
Wow. And so
But
how do
yeah.
you feel giving up your weekends? Like,
Yeah.
so you never have a weekend free for family. Like, how does that feel?
It doesn't really bother me, but I tend to like have Sunday, well, at least half of the day on a Sunday and then a Monday off
Yeah.
and just hang out with the kids then and make up for it. So, yeah. And it's only like we are like flatly only peak season, only the best times of year. Outside of that, we're closed.
Oh, so you have
We have a definitive like start and finish to the season, and we fully
so
close
what
up
are
outside of that.
those? What's those dates?
So like the last weekend in April was usually the first time we would take a wedding for the year, and then we won't take any past the first or second week of November.
Yep.
That's it. So between
It's getting hot too.
Yeah, it's getting hot. It's too high a potential of rain. Like at the end of the day, I have been in a position many times where I've had to call brides and tell them they can't have their wedding because of a cyclone. And I flatly refuse to ever have to do that again. So I just don't book those months of the year. But we're also like reasonably low lying and have like flooding roads around us. And it's just not worth the risk. Like,
No.
you know,
And
How
you
did
get a
that
good
go
break
down?
too.
it gives us a break. It means that like for half the year I've got every single weekend free. So
Yeah.
And how did it go down telling a bride, hey,
like I had one particular moment after Cyclone Yazzie and Anthony where I had to sit down with the general manager of the resort and we called 24 brides in one day. And I literally just
Wait,
had
you
people
cancelled
sobbing
20
on the phone.
24 weddings?
24 weddings.
Is that when? So that was the Cat 5. Yazzie was the
yeah,
one
Yazzie was the big one.
that went through Airlie. Hey.
Yeah. So we had Yazzie come through, but then Anthony came through less than a week later. So within a week, we had 2 cyclones. And so the resort was just like demolished. It was an utter mess. And so off the back of that, the owners decided to close for the next 6 months to get it up and
Wow.
running. And because of that, there was brides that was, some of them were only like a week away and then others were still 6 months away. But yeah, we had to call them and say, look, this is
24
what's happening.
brides.
24 brides. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
COVID?
And
Like,
COVID the same.
Yeah, what
I think
happened there?
that number was like 28 that I had to call like when they first announced we were going into lockdown. Because I had my business in South Australia at that point. And lockdown, I can't remember what date it actually was, but it was like start of March,
it was literally
February,
like,
something
yeah, it was
that.
like, I'm pretty sure it was the start of March.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
Because I remember being at my dad's 60th birthday at Northerlies in
Yeah,
February.
right.
And then it was literally
A couple of days later.
the next week or
Yeah.
days later that they just shut everything. So it was
Yeah.
like whispers and then it was like bush.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, for me, because my company was in South Australia, so the South Australian and like pretty much most of like the southern states, they have the opposite season to us. So
Yeah.
their prime time is like spring, summer period.
Ah.
So we were like going into our busiest month and they announced the closures like right smack bang in there. So I had brides that were due to get married 2 days later that we had to be like, look, you can't have your
COVID,
wedding the way
yeah.
you plan to. And we had to try and figure out a way to do it.
Terrible.
Yeah. One of them actually bought because I think I really should like check and have the dates written down, but I'm pretty sure they announced it effective of 24 hours later. It wasn't like instantaneous. So one of our brides actually, instead of getting married on the Saturday, moved it forward and got married on the Friday night so that we could just get it in. So all the suppliers were up
nice.
for it. There's like the
Like, let's
florist,
do
like
it.
I've got all the stock there.
Let's
so we
do
just
it.
made it happen. Just did it a day earlier just to get it done so that she could have it before lockdown started.
Wow.
But
Yeah, COVID was a nightmare,
was horrid.
honestly.
I look back now and just think, oh, yeah, because I worked for a news company during COVID and some of the stuff that I had to go and film, like I just shake my head at what I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really can't say much about it, but
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was terrible times.
COVID for wedding season or wedding industry was just like an absolute,
It was
like just,
yeah.
it just killed everything. Like it was just like from this to like nothing overnight.
Yeah.
Was kind of good for me though, because I was pregnant.
You got some time off.
So it was like literally, I was pregnant and then they like stopped it. And then I had Huxley in July during COVID.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this kind of works in my favor. I don't have to like
Hurry back.
go
for
to
weddings.
a wedding. Then mum has to bring my baby and I have to breastfeed. Like, because I was doing that. And I
Yeah.
was like, that was hard. So COVID kind of worked well for me.
Yeah. Well, we got stuck because my husband, so we were in South Australia again, and my husband was working in WA, and like they were the hard lockdown borders. So at one point in time, I had a newborn baby and a husband in another state for 3 months straight. And like whilst managing like a big weddings company at the time, I was like, oh, I just
Oh my God.
loving life right now.
Yeah, that would have been too much.
Yeah. And the restrictions would change so frequently that every single day I was literally on the phone to SAPOL, like figuring out what we could and couldn't do and
Checking it all.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
God, I'm so glad that's behind us, eh?
Oh, so glad.
Like,
I did keep my, like, do you remember, like, you had to have the COVID marshals at events and you had to, like, have, like, high-vis jackets and it had COVID marshal in the back?
No!
I fully kept mine. I'm like, this is my souvenir.
wait, I don't know if Queensland had that. Did we? I don't think.
Didn't you?
I don't
We
know.
were, like, very restricted in
Maybe it
South
was
Australia.
venues.
I don't know.
It was...
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, at one
it's a
point in
bit of a
time, we had
blur.
this rule around, like, you could only have 10 people at your wedding, right?
Yes.
But you weren't allowed to, like, be within a confined space with those 10 people.
Yeah.
But the irony was, right, if you had to invite 10 people to your wedding, who are you going to invite? You're going to invite, like, your immediate family and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
you've got no one else, really, or your best friends. But they're people you see all the time, right?
Yeah.
So you kiss and hug them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get married outside, you'll no doubt say congratulations, give them a kiss
Yeah.
and hug. But you weren't allowed to be in a venue with them in an enclosed space.
And do it.
And no, this is the best part. You weren't allowed to dance with them.
Yeah.
So you could kiss and hug them outside.
But you couldn't dance.
But you couldn't dance with
Was
them
it
inside.
awkward?
It was so awkward. And it was like we had to be the police for these ridiculous rules.
Did you ever
But
say
we
to
never
someone?
believed in them. Like,
Did you ever say to someone, "I'm sorry, you can't dance"?
oh yeah.
Do you look back now and go, "I can't believe I did that"?
We had to have COVID marshals policing people dancing.
Oh my God, that's my next
Talk
costume.
about the fun police.
If I need a costume, I'm coming
Come to me.
I'm going to get the COVID marshal I'm going to go as that.
Yeah,
And then
do
I'm
it.
just going to go to the party and be like, you can't dance. Get apart. 1.5.
Literally.
1.5. Let's go.
1.5. You might have just married him, but don't dance with him.
Yeah, like that's it.
That's terrible.
I had to like actively help, like push to get an exemption so the bride and groom could dance with each other. I'm like, they're probably going to go home and like commiserate the whatever.
yeah,
the
what do you
term
call,
is.
yeah, what do you call that?
Sex.
No,
Yeah, well, obviously.
no, they call it something.
I know it starts with this. Yeah,
Something. Consummate.
Consummate. That's the
That's
word.
it.
Okay, I didn't
Consummate
even
the
know that.
They're
marriage.
going to consummate the marriage, but they're not allowed to dance.
It's not legal unless you
That is
consummate.
that is
Wasn't it?
terrible.
Is that actually still a thing though?
I don't know. We need to get a celebrant on and ask them.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, we do have one coming up, so
Yeah.
we'll
There you
ask
go.
her
There you go.
if you still have to consummate to legally.
You might have to
Yeah.
give her that as a prep
Coming up.
question. She might need to do some homework.
Her face will be like, like what?
She might get up and walk out.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today, Mel. You have been amazing, and it's
Thank
been
you,
great.
Mel.
Yeah,
So
thank you so
fun.
much. This
Yes.
has been so good.
And we'll get you on again in
Yes,
the
we
future.
would love that.
Come and do one from the creek.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
come
we'll do that.
That would be cool. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
let's
love it.
lock that in next time.
Yep.
You should do.
And we've got a really another great guest coming on for our next
We
episode.
do. Very
A
exciting.
celebrant, and yeah.
Stay tuned.
All right.
Can't wait to hear the answer to that question.
Yes.
Thank
Make
you.
sure you watch it, Mel.